Fitzgerald. I'm the Acting Regional Director for the San Diego and Imperial Small Business Development Center. I'd like to thank you all for being able to get on this morning's webinar, which is a great review of a number of different state resources. We have some fantastic speakers today. In particular, I also want to thank both Wesley Kwok and Lucas Coleman, who are directors within the San Diego and Imperial Small Business Development Center Network. They're with the Alliance SBDC, which is a collaboration of the Asian Business Association, San Diego County Hispanic Chamber, and Central San Diego Black Chamber. And Lucas is with the World Trade Center of San Diego, which is also part of the Small Business Development Center Network. Of course, us here with the Small Business Development Center, we're one of the regional networks in California. We are the southernmost with San Diego and Imperial counties. We are funded primarily by the U.S. Small Business Administration. They really kind of create our charter, but equally funded by the state of California through the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, of which Michelle will be able to talk about a little bit about that later on in terms of that. But in short, we're here to help small businesses through this crisis, as well as in normal times. We have a mission of helping businesses start and grow and really be able to grow the small business ecosystem. We do that through trainings, which are, of course, all online right now. But the predominant thing we do is be able to help folks one-on-one with business coaching, business mentoring, business advising, assisting them through everything from navigating their finances, acquiring loans, getting equity financing, or even in the crisis now, doing the permits to have open air dining and be able to do all different types of programs such as that. In the last year, we were able to assist folks for over almost 24,000 hours of one-on-one business advising with our staff of experts that are over 100 strong throughout San Diego and Imperial counties. And so we really appreciate you all getting on and being able to kind of learn about a variety of these other types of state resources. And the SBDC is here to be able to help you navigate those particular resources. But in addition, there are some other local resources, and it's my pleasure also to introduce Alicia Quinn, who is the Vice President of New Business Development with the United Way, and for her to be able to talk about the amazing things the United Way has going on. Alicia.
Thank you, Daniel. Hi, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here with all of you. As Daniel mentioned, my name is Alicia Quinn. I am VP of New Business Development for United Way of San Diego County. At United Way, we are committed to aligning with both community partners as well as corporate partners to leverage resources and reduce inequities that are being felt around our region with children, young adults, and families. We focus primarily on education and family stability, and we do our work in partnership with others. So, for example, over the last couple of years, we have led the Earned Income Tax Credit Coalition here in San Diego County. We also spearheaded the Census 2020 Coalition. And we partner with the Treasurer's Office on the Cal Savers program, which I believe you'll hear about in a little while. In addition to the work in the community impact side of the organization, we also have corporate social responsibility services that we offer to companies throughout San Diego region. We have everything from small mom and pop shops as clients, all the way up to partnering with large corporations that are headquartered elsewhere but have a presence in San Diego. We help these businesses build out a corporate social responsibility program and platform for their organizations so that they can recruit, retain, and develop talent through employee engagement opportunities. So helping their employees get involved with the community, whether that's through volunteerism. We have lots of virtual volunteer opportunities going on these days, as well as helping them give and get the most value out of nonprofit board service. We have a partnership with the University of San Diego's Nonprofit Institute and host a 6-week program for community members to learn how to give and get the most value out of governing on a nonprofit board. We also help companies increase their brand awareness and cause marketing efforts. So the more that they can, show and illustrate their corporate social responsibility in the community, that does better for their bottom lines as well. So I didn't want to take too much time, but I wanted to just introduce United Way of San Diego to this group. Please reach out at any time if you have any questions or if there's ways in which we can partner with you. I can put my contact information in the chat. But without further ado, I would like to introduce our California State Treasurer, Fiona Ma. Fiona.
Thank you. Can you see me and hear me? Hello?
I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
We lost your video.
All right, hold on. How about now?
I can still hear you, but not see you yet.
I don't know why the video is not working, but I turned it on and they said they can't see me. No?
No, not yet.
Okay. If you can hear me, I don't know. I'm on a Zoom call in another room. You know how this works. And so this is a second setup. So I'm just going to speak for a couple minutes because I know there is a great panel of speakers. I have been doing about 100 webinars since the pandemic started in March. And, you know, with those experts, I think you're going to find it very, very useful today. I want to thank you, Danny Fitzgerald, as well as Alicia Quinn, for organizing this webinar today. A couple of things on my website, www.treasure.ca.gov. I've got two prominent buttons on that homepage. One is our official COVID-19.ca.gov website, which lists all of the resources, the governor's pronouncements, moving from color to color in different counties. And then the other one is my COVID-19 resource guides, where my external affairs team compiles real-time resources. So you're not wasting your time applying for something that doesn't have any money. And that those resource guides are for small businesses, nonprofits, seniors, individuals, food access, and tax relief. And so we encourage you to go to that website for the latest federal, state, local, and even private funding sources. If we don't answer a question here today, I have a dedicated email address that I set up for these type of questions and others, and that is askfiona@treasure.ca.gov, and I'll be typing it into the chat room, or my assistants will be also typing into the chat room. So I did just want to talk about a couple of interesting programs that are not on the agenda today, and people may be interested in them. We just launched a new program called College Countdown, and that can be found on my scholarshare529.com website. And that is for parents who have juniors or seniors in high school to be able to follow along, kind of like a virtual counselor, on all the different important timelines and resources and loan and also grant programs, so that your child does not miss a beat as they are preparing to attend college. I also sit on the California Earthquake Authority, and we have a Brace and Bolt program. It's been in existence since 1980, and we offer reimbursement grants up to $3,000 for seismic retrofit. I also am a member of CalHFA, our California Home Financing Authority, where we offer first-time home buyer programs. And I also have issued 3 bonds for the California Veterans first-time home buyer program as well. And so I would encourage those of you who are looking to take advantage of low rates right now to contact one of the lenders and see whether you can qualify. And the last thing, SB 826, that was a bill passed by Senator Hannah Beth Jackson and President Pro Tem Tony Atkins, that would require a certain number of women to be appointed to California headquartered companies. We have a database of about 400 women, and we are actively working with those companies who are looking to hire and appoint women on their corporate boards. So again, thank you for having us here today, and I am going to turn it over to Janie Davis, who is a deputy for one of the boards, commissions, and authorities under the Treasurer's Office, the California Pollution Control Financing Authority. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Treasurer Ma. I appreciate the introduction. My name is Janie Davis, and I am the Deputy Executive Director of the California Pollution Control Financing Authority. And I appreciate the opportunity today to talk, to have been invited by the San Diego and Imperial Valley Small Business SBDC to talk about our Calcap program. Next slide, please. Our Calcap program, Calcap stands for California Capital Access Program, and we have an umbrella of programs that at the top I've listed our Calcap for Small Business program. That's our longest standing Calcap program. And then we have the Collateral Support Program, our California Air Resources Board program, and this program assists small truck fleet owners purchase the types of trucks they need to meet the California state engine emission standards. I'm not going to talk so much about that one today, but I did want to mention it, and I provided resources throughout for this program as well. We have a California Calcap electric vehicle charging station financing program, which helps small businesses install electric vehicle charging stations for their customers and employees. The Calcap Americans with Disabilities Act program to help small businesses make the necessary accessibility retrofits so that they can make their businesses accessible to customers and employees with disabilities. And then we have a Calcap Seismic Safety Loan program. That's to help small businesses and building owners retrofit their buildings so that they can withstand a seismic earthquake or seismic event. I'm going to focus today on the Calcap for Small Business program and the Collateral Support program. Next slide, please. The businesses and purposes that qualify for our Calcap program, startups can qualify, and nonprofits can qualify, and businesses with fewer than 500 employees can qualify. As far as the restrictions are very general, but I will take you to the last one. No activity is considered bad if you do too much of it, is what we call our sin and vice. And so that's no gambling, shooting ranges, adult entertainment, and tobacco products or alcohol sales. However, we can finance loans, enroll loans for breweries and wineries. Next slide. I like to use this slide to kind of show who uses our Calcap program throughout, and these numbers are for last year, but you'll see that the transportation and warehousing industries were our largest users of the Calcap for Small Business program. Then next, it looks like, I think retail comes in next, and then accommodation and food services comes in after that. I ran some numbers, and in San Diego County in 2020, we have enrolled 39 loans for our small business program, 98 for our card program, and 1 for our collateral support program. And then in Imperial County, we've done 4 small business loans and 35 card loans. So I'm going to give you a little snapshot of what's the kind of loans we've enrolled for your counties. Next slide, please. Okay, this slide provides an overview of the Calcap for Small Business program. And the program supports loans made to small businesses, including startups and nonprofits, as I mentioned, by facilitating private loans for land acquisition, startup costs, working capital. Since COVID-19 hit, we've seen working capital loans for businesses that need to maybe make improvements to provide outside dining or outside services. We've also seen some loans for bridge loans for those types of businesses that are needing to get SBA loan guarantees, but just haven't quite got that funding yet. They use the Calcap for Small Business program to help bridge that. And we also make then equipment and inventory purchases. We've seen some for PPE purchases, and then food trucks. We do a lot of food, we enroll a lot of loans for food trucks in this program. The maximum loan amount is $5 million. And the maximum that can be enrolled in the program for the loan loss reserve coverage is $2.5 million. We do provide extra support for businesses in severely affected communities. And we've expanded the definition of severely affected communities, which generally is based on the unemployment of the city as compared to that of the state. We've expanded that to include businesses impacted by national national declared disasters and COVID-19. So there is extra support available for businesses located in those areas. We really rely on our lenders to set the terms and conditions for the loans pursuant to their underwriting policies. And we work, our point of contact, we work with the lenders, but we encourage the small businesses to reach out to the lenders, to talk to the lenders about their loan. And I've provided the link to our lender list. As I mentioned, I'm going to leave you with a lot of resources. So here's the lender list, the link to the lender list for the lenders that participate in our Calcap for Small Business program. And then I provided a link to our general program page, which provides some good information. Next slide. Our collateral support program is a little bit different, and this program, instead of providing loan loss reserve coverage, we provide actually cash support for those businesses that have a collateral shortfall to enable them to get financing that they might not otherwise be able to get. And again, in this program, since COVID hit, we've seen a lot of loans for working capital, equipment and inventory purchases, and bridge loans for permanent finance until permanent financing kicks in. And construction and renovation, as I mentioned, those businesses that might need to make improvements to accommodate for outside dining or outside services. These loans tend to be a little bit larger. Minimum amount is $50,000 and the maximum is $20 million. We also provide additional cash support to businesses that support green and manufacturing loans, to smaller loans between $50,000 to $250,000, and those businesses in the severely affected communities, as I mentioned on the last slide, those that have are areas of high unemployment, businesses that have been affected by COVID-19, or businesses that were affected by had a defined disaster area. The $2.5 million is the maximum collateral we can provide per loan and borrower. Again, we encourage small businesses to reach out to our participating lenders. The lenders that you'll see on the collateral support list might be a little different from those on the Calcap for small business. Some lenders just specialize in the collateral support program and find that that works really well for their borrowers. So I provided both the link to the program page and the lender list here. Next slide, please. As I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, we have a whole suite of programs, and I wanted to make sure that you had access to the page where you can reach out to any of the lenders for any of the programs. You'll see there's specific lenders that are enrolled in the different programs. The California Air Resources Board truck program might be different than those for the small business. So please, I encourage you to use this link and check out the lenders that we have listed. We also welcome new lenders. So if you're a small business that's comfortable with working with a lender that you're consistently work with, we would be happy to enroll those lenders in our program and they can participate as well. Next slide. And I provide the link here to the application for the lenders to do that, and a little bit more information on the types of financial institutions that qualify to participate in our program. But this is what we find, if there's an area where there's a lender that does a lot of activity, it's great to have a lender representative from that area. And here's the link to that. And then my last slide is just my contact information. I've got my email address here. We have here's the overall Calcap web page, and then we have a Calcap inbox. And you can feel free, if you have questions, please email that inbox. I have staff here that are willing and available. The return calls are very responsive to small businesses that need more information on any of the programs. Here's our phone number, and then we provide as many updates. If we get new lenders, we provide updates on our Twitter page. So I wanted to provide that as well. Thank you very much. I will be available to answer questions in the end if there are any, but without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Michelle Radman with the California Office of Small Business. Michelle?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Good morning, everyone. Thank you again to Treasurer Ma for having me speak today, as well as the San Diego Imperial Valley Small Business Development Center and United Way San Diego. As introduced, my name is Michelle Radman, and I am the Northern Regional Advisor and Interim Program Manager for the California Office of the Small Business Advocate, which I will refer to as CalOSBA going forward. And we are located within the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. Next slide, please. As a brief overview of our office, we are the principal advocate in the state on behalf of all small businesses in California. So that's 4.1 small businesses here in the great state. And we represent their views and interests across state government. We ensure that information, content, and direct support are available to them to better navigate state resources, programs, and regulations. And then finally, we support them to increase their resilience for disasters, which unfortunately occur far too often here in California. And then in alignment with Governor Newsom's focus on building a California for all, our office is truly committed to creating inclusive, entrepreneurial, and small business ecosystems to eliminate opportunity gaps that exist across zip code, race, and gender. Next slide, please. And so quickly, information and gateway to resources. So our office provides direct assistance. We received a surge of requests for TA from small businesses during the pandemic. And so we maintain an extensive resource guide listing out the latest state actions and detailing the most critical resources available. So if you have any questions about what is available during this time, oh, can we go back? Thank you. Go forward one, please. There we go. Thank you. And so for any questions, you can go to business.ca.gov/Zendesk. You can submit an email directly to us, and either myself or someone on the team will respond within 48 hours. As far as content, CalOSBA actively amplifies information in collaboration with GoBiz through our website tools, webinars, podcasts, newsletters, community events, earned media, and social media. And to Danny's comment earlier, we connect small businesses to resources, information, and networks who provide accessible training, consulting, and tools for small businesses and entrepreneurs for their startup, launch, access to capital, compete in markets, and grow or scale. So here on the screen, you see a quick map that you can access by going to business.ca.gov/centers, and you can find a technical assistance resource center near you. And so of course that includes our great partners, the SBDCs in San Diego. There's also procurement technical assistance centers if you're in the contracting space, Veterans Business Outreach Center if you are a veteran-owned small business owner or entrepreneur, and Women's Business Center. So if you're a woman-owned small business or women entrepreneur, you know, these resources are available to you, and they provide free consulting and or low-cost training. Next slide, please. So as mentioned, we advocate and we are the voice of small businesses, all 4.1. I will go through this rather quickly. I want to be mindful of everyone's time, but we work very hard in terms of access to capital. We advocate across private and corporate philanthropy, the financial sector, and within state governments to help promote investments in capital programs to support small business recovery. So most recently, we worked with iBank to ensure capital was available for small businesses, the smallest of the small, the most underserved in the state, and who were not able to access federal disaster relief monies. So my great colleague Megan from iBank will be able to go over that. And then we also have the Entrepreneurship Task Force, and this was to connect successful entrepreneurs to small businesses and entrepreneurs in our state, and create working groups and really be able to have roundtable discussions about the next generation and what solutions there can be and how we can possibly break down those barriers. And then we also work on access to supply chains. So this is, again, small business procurement issues. Can we go back one slide, please? Thanks. Small business procurement issues and helping small businesses access state markets. Now we can go to the next slide. Thank you. And then recently we launched Get Digital California. This is an e-commerce initiative. It supports small businesses to adopt to digital online tools, e-commerce solutions, social media platforms, and other technology platforms to help pivot your business and to adapt to a new e-commerce marketplace. So all of that information can be found at business.ca.gov/getdigitalcalifornia. But one of the great things that has come out of this as well is the 40 free or discounted digital products and services that are being provided by corporate partners like GoDaddy, UPS, and DoorDash. So I highly encourage you to visit this to access the tools, the resources, and additional support to get you online or expand your online presence. Next slide, please. Okay. And as mentioned, we do support on the disaster front. And so we are the economic recovery support function on behalf of GoBiz. And essentially what that means is we work with the Office of Emergency Services, and we are deployed to support recovery efforts at the local level. And we support the local strategies and provide assistance wherever we can. And then I just want to bring your attention to outsmartdisaster.com. They host a unique online tool that businesses can use to access their resiliency challenge called the Resilient Business Challenge. And it's a detailed 5-step course that goes over topics such as identifying impacts of disruption and strengthening facilities. And so the challenge will walk you through each step and provide you with key information along the way. And then, of course, on our website, we keep up to date a disaster relief resource guide. So this includes all disasters, not just the current COVID pandemic, but this includes wildfires and information at both the state and federal level. And so this is updated in real time. And you can see the hyperlinks here, but I'll also drop them in the chat box for you to access. Next slide, please. Okay, so to close out, this is all of our contact information. Again, I will type this in as you can't click on it from the Zoom share screen. And so for the latest information related to any COVID updates, I highly encourage you to bookmark and check frequently the covid19.ca.gov. Of course, they have the most up-to-date as it pertains to county information, and where you can see what's open, what's closed, what's the latest guidance in accordance to both our state and CDC. With the Get Digital California, hit the website again, and then latest information on wildfire and disaster relief. And then I just want to point out one more time, the business.ca.gov/centers. Please find your local small business technical assistance center if you are not already connected. Again, like Danny in San Diego, they provide awesome one-on-one to really build up your business, make sure that you are resilient in an upcoming unfortunate disaster, and really prepare you for an online marketplace. And then you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and now Instagram. So I'll have to update that, but I'll share that in the chat box below. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. So with that, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Traylon Bradley. He's the Senior Business Development Specialist with our California Business Investment Services Unit.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you everyone for being here this morning and taking the time to be a part of this webinar. And I also wanted to thank the State Treasurer's Office as well as the San Diego and Imperial Valley Small Business Development Center for hosting this webinar today. My name is Trey Bradley, and I'm a Senior Business Development Specialist in the California Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, or GoBiz, located here in Southern California in Los Angeles. So I'll be going over a few tax credits and some incentives that I think you all should be utilizing today, and of course, covering a little bit of the services that we offer here within GoBiz. Next slide, please. So GoBiz, you're hearing a lot about kind of different agencies and departments today. We are the point of contact for economic development, job creation efforts under the state, and we offer a ton of services to business owners, communities, and site selectors. As you can see in the bottom, I have listed out some of the range of services that we offer, from permit assistance to export, import assistance. The Office of Small Business Advocate, as Michelle just shared. We have a program called California Competes Tax Credit, which I'll be talking about today. I'm located within the California Business Investment Services team, and we are really here to provide that tailored consultation for site selection and incentive navigation for businesses in California. Oftentimes, a lot of folks call us the consultant you don't have to pay for, and that's really what we're here as a team to be. We're here to be here of service to you and help you succeed within California. Next slide. And so if there's one website I want to leave you with, really for my presentation is business.ca.gov. This is the homepage where you can find many different incentives that exist throughout state government. And you can just go here by sector. You can also go to the different advantages pages on our website to be able to see a list of drop down of incentives that are able to apply to that sector or what type of business classification you are under. So just go to business.ca.gov. We're really proud of this website and having been redone this year to be very user-friendly for businesses. Next slide. So I'm going to be talking about a range of tax credits, which you all can be utilizing and maximizing today. The first one is California Competes Tax Credit Program, which is located here within GoBiz. California Competes Tax Credit is an income tax credit that's available to businesses within California who are looking to grow over 5 years and projected investment and job growth. You are able to use and obtain this tax credit. It's available for small businesses as well, and use it on any period within those 5 years. So even if you're not having to use the income tax credit within this year, you can use it in a later year. It is a competitive application process. The next round is open up in January, and we have some of the most amount in income tax credits that we have available in the program. And you can go to the California Competes Tax Credit Program, which will be in the link at the top, where you can see on our website a list of awardees, and you can see folks who are small businesses all the way down to, computer services. And I saw a couple examples of those within San Diego, and all the way up to big businesses. So it really ranges throughout the state. It is a competitive application, but the great thing is the application is all online, and the California Competes team is there to help you, assist you, and make sure that you're able to navigate having to put forth a good application for Cal Competes. Next slide. The next one is the R&D income tax credit. So this is another income tax credit that's available to businesses. It has to be used in the year of. And so this is for qualified research expenses that you work on with the Franchise Tax Board. I've seen a lot of small businesses maximize this income tax credit. It's also used for qualified research payments that you make to third parties. So you can work directly with the FTB staff to understand what qualifies as research costs and expenses under your business, and then be able to claim this credit when you go for an income tax credit within the same year that you're having the research expenses paid. If you can see, California Competes, with the one I showed in the previous example, is you can use that one over multiple years. You can hold that income tax credit and use it over multiple years. This one you can use in the year of. And so, if you reach out to our team, we can be able to share how you can maybe you navigate these income tax credits to make sure that you're successful. Next slide. The next one is called the New Employment Credit. This is another income tax credit. This one is very lucrative right now. And I was actually looking at a list of a ton of small businesses who have utilized this income tax credit last night. New Employment Credit is available for new hires that you make, where you're able to receive 35% of qualified wages of that employee over 5 years of that employee being located within your business if they come from a qualified new employment census tract. And they also meet a range of different types of classifications. So a veteran, ex-offender convicted of felony, they're a current CalWorks or general assistance recipient. They're a recent recipient of unemployment. So there's also a lot of different types of qualifications of who that employee can be. And of course, you're getting an income tax credit of those wages locked into an amount of time. So it's a very lucrative tax credit right now because there's potentially a lot of qualifiable workforce. So we're encouraging businesses to seek out and maximize this income tax credit as well. Next slide. Another one that I'm going to talk about is, I just shared 3 income tax credits. This one is a sales and use tax exemption. So, you know, the 3 income tax credits, 1 of them competitive, 2 you can claim at any time just by working through the FTB. This is also a very easy incentive to utilize. It's a very simple form, and you can actually be reimbursed up to a certain amount of years, up to 3 years for qualified payments that you make for general manufacturing and R&D equipment. And there's a lot of different types of ways to qualify for this. So, you know, I've seen small businesses use this for general manufacturing equipment for a lot of different qualifiable expenses. So this is with the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, and you're filling out a simple form that you're taking with you to a vendor when you're going to make that point of purchase to be able to remove the state sales tax obligation. If you've already made a purchase within the last 3 years, you can use the form and get it in writing with CDTFA and go back and be, you know, basically reimbursed for those payments that you made for those qualified expenses. R&D is also eligible under here, and then agriculture equipment as well. Next slide. This is the last one I wanted to share because I think it's very, very timely considering this is brand new. There is a small business hiring credit, and this was passed in recent legislation in this year. This is also an income tax credit, but it is very easy to apply for with a tentative credit reservation. So you're just submitting this form through CDTFA. If you have 100 or fewer employees, if you experience a 50% decrease in gross receipts, you know, due to COVID-19, this tax credit is available to you, $1,000 for each net new increase in monthly average number of employees. So $1,000 per new hire that you have made within the period that's qualifiable for the small business hiring tax credit. So this is brand new, and December 1st will be the first day that you are allowed to file for that credit reservation through CDTFA. Next slide. And then the last thing I was going to share is there is a website that is available called safelymakingca.org. And this website is for businesses. It's a partnership with CMTA Autodesk, GoBiz, and our Office of Emergency Services. Is a marketplace to fill critical gaps for all sectors under COVID-19. So if you are a business that needs access to PPE, or you are a business that is in the space of manufacturing PPE, this is a marketplace for you to be a part of. So if you're looking to either find that PPE for your business, or you are looking to be able to sell on this marketplace for those if you are manufacturing or making PPE for other folks to buy, so small businesses or potential contractors. So just given COVID-19, I think that this is also a fabulous resource to explore. Next slide. And that's it for me. The last thing I would just say is, you know, business.ca.gov is the place to go to be connected with us at any time. I've also left our phone number. You can go to business.ca.gov, and at the top there's contact us. And just like Michelle said, it's a Zendesk platform, and we will be connected with one of us immediately. We can help and talk to you about what you need to do and where you need to go in terms of maybe layering some of these tax credits, or what might be the most useful for you in the interim while you're maybe navigating which one is the best. So we're really here to help you and assist you in any way that we possibly can. And I just want to thank everyone for being here on the webinar today, and the team here for having GoBiz on and our team. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Megan at iBank. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Megan Hodap, and I am a loan officer at iBank. I just wanted to thank State Treasurer Ma and San Diego and Imperial Valley SBDC for inviting me here today to talk about iBank and some of the programs that we offer. Next slide. So this is just a little bit about iBank as a whole. iBank was created by the legislature in 1994. We are the state of California's only general purpose financing authority. We can provide financial assistance to support economic development and infrastructure in the state of California. We have a variety of different units. We have a bond unit, we have a iServe unit, and then we have the Small Business Finance Center, which is what I am a part of. We have a number of different funds and programs within each of those units, but I'm here to talk about the Finance Center. So next page. So the Small Business Finance Center was created to help support businesses throughout the state with credit enhancement programs. So we have a loan guarantee program as our traditional program that we offer all the time. That's kind of our bread and butter. This is to encourage lenders to help provide capital to businesses, which is something that businesses oftentimes struggle with, is getting access to capital. We provide a credit enhancement program. So we provide up to an 80% guarantee on a bank loan to allow to mitigate some of the risk that lenders feel in lending to small businesses. And we also have a disaster relief loan guarantee program, which I'm going to be talking about in depth. That's similar to our traditional. We can go up to a 95% guarantee on the disaster relief. And this one is for declared disasters within the state. Next slide. At the Small Business Finance Center, we are an office of 4 in Sacramento. So we're a very small office. We rely heavily on our financial development corporation partners throughout the state. They are nonprofit organizations that were created in statute to essentially facilitate our programs within the state of California. We have 7 of them throughout the state. They are not geographically restricted. They can work with any business anywhere. In fiscal year 1920, the Small Business Finance Center guaranteed 470 loans, which resulted in over 165 million in guarantees. The FDCs are around to help process these guarantees, the disaster loans, and then they facilitate some of our other programs. Next slide. So this is a little bit about our disaster relief loan guarantee program and the process by which you would apply for this. So who qualifies and who is eligible? We consider a small business any business with under 750 employees. And for the disaster relief program, they would have to be negatively impacted or experience disruption by COVID-19. Eligible nonprofits are also able to use the program. The step 2 would be to apply for the loan by contacting one of our participating lenders. We have a list of lenders on our website who have already made disaster loans and enrolled them in our guarantee program. So we suggest reaching out to them directly as far as the application process. You can also receive assistance from your local small business development center as far as preparing for financing and then applying for the financing as well. So how does a loan guarantee work? So essentially it mitigates the risk assumed by a financial institution. A bank is more willing to provide access to capital if there's a guarantee in place that would repay some of that should there be a loan default. So essentially, if we have our guarantee on a loan and for whatever reason the borrower defaults, the bank can then come to us and file a claim to get paid out what we cover in the guarantee. So whether that's 80% or 95% if it's a disaster guarantee. So for the disaster relief loan guarantee program, what can the loan proceeds be used for? These are meant to help small businesses through the challenging time that we're going through right now. They can be used for either business continuance or to cure economic injury as a result of COVID-19. And then what are the terms of the loan? The loan can be guaranteed up to 7 years. The term of the loan can actually be longer than that, but our guarantee is a maximum of 7 years. And the maximum amount we can cover is 95% of the loan. The interest rates and the qualifications are all between the lender and the borrower. Those are based on the lender's own internal criteria. Next slide. So this is a little bit of information about some of the disaster loans that we've already done. As of October 30th, we have done 658 COVID-19 disaster relief funds that were conditionally approved. Out of those 658, 538 of them have been to kind of our target borrowers, which is women, minority-owned, or low to moderate income businesses. In fiscal year 2019, with the $50 million allocation from the governor into our COVID trust, so this was from April 1st to June 30th, we conditionally approved 141 disaster guarantees, which resulted in more than 5.2 million in disaster guarantees. So as of October 30th, in that same program, we have conditionally approved over 21.9 million in loans, which retained or created over 3,140 jobs for Californians. Next slide. Okay, the California Rebuilding Fund. Ironically enough, when I sent in my my PowerPoint for this program has not been released yet. So it was kind of a, well, here's what you can do in the meantime. However, on Friday, the governor announced this program and made it available. So essentially what the California Rebuilding Fund is a public-private partnership to increase capital and support for the smallest businesses in communities across California. So we're created it to ensure that businesses have access to support to help recover from this ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Next slide. So this slide's not really relevant anymore. There is a website for the California Rebuilding Fund. It is caloanfund.org. And I will go ahead and put that in the chat too. So you can go to that and it will allow you to apply, and then it can match you with participating community development financial institutions to get the process started for receiving these loans. Next slide. Here's a little bit about kind of the product itself for the California Rebuilding Fund. The interest rate is 4.2% fixed interest, 60-month term. Use of proceeds can be for working capital, including payroll, operating and emergency maintenance, utilities, rent, supplies. No collaterals required, no upfront fees, and the maximum amount of the loan is either $100,000 or 3 times the average monthly revenue prior to COVID-19. Next slide. This is just information about the portal. So it's all, so currently with our traditional small business loan guarantee program and the disaster relief loan guarantee program, you have to go through different avenues to apply, either through our financial development corporation or through the lender. The nice thing with the California Rebuilding Fund is that it's all done through one centralized portal. So businesses can just go to this portal, find out all the information about the loan, put in their application, and they'll be connected with a participating lender for this program. Next slide. So that's all I have today. This is my contact information. This is the email address that we have set up kind of as a centralized for all inquiries for the Small Business Finance Center at COVID-19 loan at ibank.ca.gov, as well as the main line for iBank and the website. And my name is Megan Hodap. So thank you again for having me. It's always a pleasure to do these kinds of things. And I would love to introduce Katie Solinsky. She is the Executive Director for Cal Savers, and she is up next.
Thank you, Megan. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Katie Solinsky. I'm with Cal Savers, and I'm going to try to go really fast to make sure we have time for David and questions. Cal Savers is the state of California's new retirement savings program for workers in the private sector who don't have access to a retirement plan at work. And you might be thinking, what the heck does this have to do with COVID and my ability to get my business through this difficult time? Well, you know, the answer is pretty simple, and that is that this pandemic has made it even more clear than it already was that too many people are struggling to build financial resources for the long term and for the short term. And Cal Savers is here to help support them do that. Even before the pandemic, we knew that almost half of working Californians were on a trajectory to retire into economic hardship if they could retire at all. So that's a really big problem. Lawmakers in the state a few years ago addressed that problem by establishing Cal Savers. And we're not gonna have time today to talk about how the programs work, how the program works for your employees and for savers. But what I wanted to do, just spend quick minute on talking about what it means from the employer's perspective. And there's a really important element of this, and that is that there's an employer requirement if you don't already offer a retirement savings program. So let's go to the next slide here. So the most important thing that I want you to walk away with is understand that if you don't already offer a retirement plan to your employees, and if you have at least 5 employees, you need to facilitate Cal Savers, register for and facilitate Cal Savers by your deadline. This slide here shows the deadlines by employer size. So we just passed our first deadline for the largest employees, those with more than 100 employees. The next deadline is coming up on June 30th for employers with more than 50. And the last deadline for compliance is June 30th, 2022, and that's for the smallest businesses with 5 or more employees. We did extend the deadline, the first deadline in light of COVID, and I just want to be clear that we're doing everything we can to be sensitive to the plight of employers, support you. Of course, if you're not operational right now, then this, you know, you won't be facilitating any payroll or payroll contributions. But for those of you who are still up and running, we do want to make sure you know about your deadlines and what's required of you. Let's go to the next slide, please. The most important things for you to understand that just the core basics are for employers, it's really easy to facilitate. We've got top-notch technology and it's a very simple program. There are no fees for you. And in fact, there's no employer contributions. Employers are not allowed to contribute, for better or worse, to their employees' CalSavers accounts. And employers are not fiduciaries. These are not employer-sponsored plans. The state is the fiduciary, so you do not have that legal liability that you would have in an employer-sponsored plan. And what you need to do is come to our website, calsavers.com, get registered. We're sending out lots of notices on paper and email. So if you haven't gotten one of those already and you think you're subject to these requirements, keep an eye out or just come to our website, set up your account. All those first couple steps just take a couple minutes. Then you need to upload your roster. We take care of all of the enrollment and all of the engagement with the workers. You don't have to engage with the staff about the components of the program or enrollment. We do all of that. And then on an ongoing basis, facilitating the payroll deductions. In the San Diego area, we estimate there are about 20,000 employers that we think are going to be subject to the requirements. And it looks like they employ about 450,000 workers. So again, we're trying to make this as easy as possible for employers. We have an awesome onboarding team to help get you through it. And actually, let me just go to the next slide here. So this is the most important slide. We didn't have time today to cover really much about the program, but would love to welcome you to come to our website, calsavers.com. We host 2 to 3 webinars every single week that are open to the public. Some of them are offered in Spanish that walks you through the 101 of CalSavers, what it means for you as an employer, what it looks like for your employees, how to get help, how to get started. These are just top-notch folks that are doing these onboarding sessions, and we're here to help you get through all those steps. So please check out in the bottom green bar there, calsavers.com/events. That's where you can see the calendar of our public webinars. You can register, they're free, they're open to the public. You can attend as many times as you want. They're very highly rated and folks have told us that they found them to be really, really helpful. So that's really all I have time for today, but welcome you to come check it out. We're here to help you and hope that you can see CalSavers as part of your plan as we eventually head into recovery. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to David.
Thank you, Katie. Appreciate it. And I will be as brief as possible with these two. I think in addition to this title slide, we only have 3 slides total, or 4 total, so 3 in addition to this. And I'll be quick. First, I'd like to join my colleagues in thanking Treasurer Ma, San Diego Imperial Valley Small Business Development Center, and the United Way of San Diego for the opportunity to speak with you today. As a proud San Diegan myself, I am particularly happy to speak to this group. My name is David Gibbs. I'm the program manager overseeing design and implementation of the energy efficiency financing programs for the California Hub for Energy Efficiency Financing, also known as the CHIEF. If you haven't noticed already, state agencies, we operate within an acronym soup, and we are no different. I oversee the programs for the CHIEF. We'll talk more about one of the CHIEF financing pilots here in a minute. But for some background, the CHIEF is a division of the California Alternative Energy and Advanced Transportation Financing Authority, or CATFA. And CATFA is housed within the State Treasurer's Office under the leadership of Treasurer Ma. CATFA works collaboratively with public and private partners to provide innovative and effective financing solutions for California's industries, assisting in reducing the state's greenhouse gas emissions by increasing the development and deployment of renewable energy sources, energy efficiency, and advanced transportation and manufacturing technologies, with the goal of reducing air pollution, conserving energy, and promoting economic development and jobs. Today, I'm going to talk about 2 CATFA programs that help small businesses financially and also help to support a green economy. Next slide, please. The first program I'd like to talk about is our Small Business Energy Efficiency Financing Program. First of all, we are well aware that small businesses right now have a lot of pressure on them, and energy efficiency is not necessarily front of mind and what you're thinking about. However, for those small businesses that need to replace their HVAC systems or water heating or lighting. Doing so can help lower operational costs. And through the Small Business Energy Efficiency Financing Program, businesses can access up to $5 million in financing with extended payment terms. Because our program offers finance companies with a credit enhancement, those finance companies are able to approve a very wide base of businesses, as well as provide better rates and terms than businesses would otherwise qualify for. This means for you, lower interest rates and or longer repayment terms than our finance companies would otherwise be able to offer on the open market. Who's it for? The program is for all small businesses who receive energy from SDG&E or from a local CCA. Both property owners and small businesses who lease their space can qualify. Young or newer businesses with less established credit can also apply. And cannabis growers and processors are welcome to apply. Next slide, please. Through the program, businesses can upgrade their entire property or finance a single piece of equipment. Measures include lighting, refrigeration, HVAC, food service equipment, and really a lot more. Financing can be combined with utility rebates, incentives, and on-bill financing programs. And on the right, you can see an example of a project that was financed through our program, where a bakery accessed $145,000 to do duct sealing and replace hood vents on some cooking equipment that they had. They also included remodeling and took advantage of the ability to include non-energy upgrades in their financing as well. So if there are contractors listening who do energy efficiency retrofits or install energy efficiency measures, we'd love to have your participation in a program. And if there are small businesses who need financing, or if you want more information about the programs, please go to www.gogreenfinancing.com and you'll see finance companies and their offerings there. We're also really excited and proud to announce that gogreenfinancing.com recently underwent a full Spanish translation, and our Spanish language site is live. And you can access that by going to GoGreen and then just clicking the Spanish language version. And final slide. And here I'm going to switch gears a little bit and speak to you about our Sales Tax Exclusion, or STE, program for manufacturers. It's another program offered by CATFA. And the goal of this program is to support advanced manufacturing in California. It's a way for manufacturers to purchase equipment without paying sales and use tax. And that works out to about an 8 to 10% savings off of purchases, depending on the sales tax rate at the time and in your area. The program is available to startup businesses or established businesses looking to expand. Businesses can access up to $10 million in STE for each project, and they have 3 years to use that. To provide you an example, on a $15 million purchase, you can save up to $1.25 million in sales tax exclusion. We've done projects as small as $500,000 in equipment with a sales tax exclusion of $25,000, and we've approved projects up to the $10 million cap. And there are 4 pathways to qualify. There's the alternative source pathway, recycling, advanced manufacturing, and advanced transportation pathways. And what do these mean? Alternative source includes producers of fuel or energy that replace fossil fuel sources, as well as producers of energy efficiency products or energy efficient products. A common misconception about this pathway is that if a company uses an alternative source for its project, then it may qualify. However, to be eligible, a company must be making an alternative source. For advanced transportation, here the project must be identified by CAFA as including emerging commercially competitive transportation-related technologies. Examples are producers of electric cars or aircraft or batteries used for zero-emission vehicles. Recycling In addition to commonly understood recycling projects, this pathway includes companies that process recycled feedstock or use recycled feedstock in the production of another product or soil amendment. And some common examples of types of projects that would qualify through this pathway include materials recovery facilities and composters, tire recyclers, or carpet recyclers. And finally, in advanced manufacturing, for this category, CATFA assesses the manufacturing process used and not what is being manufactured. Generally, the manufacturing process should be more advanced and sustainable than previous practices or current industry standards. Specifically, CATFA is looking to see if less resources, such as energy and/or waste, are being used, or if the process is producing less pollutants and/or waste. And to learn more about the STE program or to discuss eligibility, you can contact us at catfa@sto.ca.gov. I know I ran through those slides pretty quickly, but we will be here for questions here in just a few minutes. But that concludes my presentation. And so now I'd like to turn the floor back over to Danny. Thank you.
This was fantastic. I appreciate everybody for getting on today. We've had some excellent presentations, a whole lot of different types of information. We are kind of wrapped up on time. We've gotten up to the 12 o'clock hour. So what we've been trying to do is be able to answer most of the questions as they've come up. So I think we do have one real quick here though. I think this is probably to you, Dave, because it came in just a minute ago. So the sales tax exemption through a separate agency than the Sales and Use Tax Board, or how does a company take advantage of the manufacturing equipment exemption on sales tax? Actually, I think that might have been Trey who was talking about some of that.
Yeah,
Trey, are you still with us?
Can you repeat the second half? I heard it kind of cut off for me.
No problem. So is this sales tax exemption through a separate agency rather than the Sales and Use Tax Board, or how does a company take advantage of the manufacturing equipment on sales tax?
So it is through California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. So you just heard the presentation of full sales and use tax exclusion, which is under the Treasurer's Office. Both of these are available if you go for example, the one that was just presented, CATFA, and there's things that don't qualify under that, you can easily just go to the partial sales and use tax. It's broadly to say that the state of California always offers a sales and use tax exclusion. And so you can go get that 3.9% with that simple form. And the other point I would make is that, you can do it at any time. You don't have to go through a competitive application process. What CATFA just presented on the full sales and use tax exclusion, that's inclusive of all local sales taxes that may be associated at the purchase point for that exclusion. So, or for basically the award under CATFA for that sales tax obligation. So the partial is available all the time at CDTFA. Just type in partial sales and use tax exclusion California, and you'll go there. It takes you just to a simple two to 3 page form that you fill out and you take with you to your point of purchase, or use that form to file with CDTFA to go retroactively back for those payments you've already made up to 3 years.
Fantastic. And so again, I think, as we wrap up, I really want to appreciate everybody who was on today. Thank you to the United Way for co-hosting with this. Thank you in particular to Treasurer Ma for joining us, and all our fantastic panelists from the state of California and all the wide array of programs. I think, the key is to understand that the state is here to be able to assist and work with small businesses. We understand at the SBDC that this is sometimes tricky to navigate. That's what we're here to do, to kind of help you with that and work with all these different state agencies who are truly our partners as well. And so, I see that we've kind of answered all of our questions, and I know that we'll be emailing out the presentations as well as a recording of this, which is probably going to be very useful for you as you go back. But other than that, I really want to thank Trey, Katie, Michelle, Megan, David for getting on, along with Alicia and Treasurer Ma from earlier, and really appreciate Wes and Lucas for putting this together, and as well as your team. So, and Janae as well. Thank you to you too. So a lot of fantastic things. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your week, and in the spirit, of course, Thanksgiving. Thank you.